Hi, I'm Phyllis. My website is southernfrugal.com, and today we're going to make a recipe that a viewer sent in, and this recipe is from Lee Perdue, and it's for pea salad. And I can tell you, we already made it earlier this week. It is absolutely delicious, and it just gets better the next day. So it was so good that after we had our smoothies this morning, Mr. Bucky suggested we eat it with some tortilla chips, and that's exactly what we did. So we're making it again for y'all and to go with our meal for today. Now I'm going to put a clip in somewhere in here and show you the different spices that go in it. Now I did not find one of the spices she told, and she said the most important thing is the curry powder. So let's get started with this. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is drain our peas. There they are. We're going to drain these. You want to use the very young, small peas. So you want to first drain all the liquid off. Let's get this can open. And I've already boiled 2 eggs. These are hard-boiled eggs. And now she said, I think, to slice them or chop them. And I just go ahead and mash them up. Alright. And for those people, I just want to point this out. For those people that wrote in when I was talking about the cans and said they had some kind of glue on them, I want y'all to watch this. Do you see that string of something? I think it's glue. Alright, so we're just going to drain those, knock those out. Alright. So while they're draining, I'm going to mash up the eggs, and I do use my little potato masher. It just makes it go a lot faster. And these are large eggs. She said you could put 1 or 2 in, and I like the idea of putting 2 in there. Just mashing them up. Alright, so we got our eggs mashed up. Drain those peas a little bit longer, and so we're going to go ahead and put our spices in now. So basil, just putting a couple of shakes of everything, parsley, leaves, oregano. Now, oregano makes everything sharper, I think, especially things like potatoes. I'm almost out of the dill weed. A little bit of that in. We love dill weed. And we're using the celery seeds. They definitely add some taste. Couple of shakes of garlic powder, and again, in my opinion, and I think hers too, the most important thing is the curry powder. That's what changes everything. And I actually put in probably at least 2 teaspoonfuls, maybe a little more. And she did say that she puts curry powder in a lot of things like egg salad, potato salad, macaroni salad, tuna, salmon. I mean, I just think that's a good idea. It changes the taste for the better, really. Alright, and so now I'm just going to mix that up with the eggs. Like that. Let me get something other than metal, because a couple of people just can't stand to hear that scraping on the pot. think our peas have probably drained enough now. So we're just going to go ahead and dump those in right on top. Mix all those spices in with the eggs and the peas. I'm going to go ahead and dump the onions in. That is about 3 tablespoons. Now, she said to use a small chopped onion, so I just went ahead and used half of a sort of medium onion because that's all I had. Now, I'm going to put the red wine vinegar, sorry for the dogs, y'all. I'm going to put the red wine vinegar in just right on top of those onions before I mix it up. And I actually am going to use more than a teaspoon. I really like the vinegar taste in there. Just mix that in. And my dogs are in here drinking water, y'all. If you hear them lapping up the water. Now this is going to be in the refrigerator for probably, let me guess and say, at least 2 hours, maybe 3 before we have our meal. And I also could not find the coleslaw dressing that she recommended. I think it's Marzetti slaw dressing. I could not find that at the store. So I'm going to use about 2 really heaping tablespoons of Duke's mayonnaise. And I'm going to also use a teeny bit of sugar right on top of that. This may be, let's say, about a teaspoon. Because I do know that that slaw dressing does have sugar in it, or corn syrup or something. All right, so we're just going to mix this up. Y'all, I'm telling you, this was so good. Mr. Bucky could not get enough of it. He really couldn't. And it was definitely better the second day. Decidedly better. I think we got that mixed up pretty well. And when you put it in the refrigerator, it gives it a chance to, of course, cool off, and it also gives it a chance for those spices to all get mingled in, and it is so, so good. And she says that it will go with ribs, chops, ham, and anything. And I agree with her, it will go great. But this just made a great dip, y'all. I could not believe it. On those tortillas, chips, it's just delicious. All right, we're going to dump this in our little Pyrex dish and put it in the bottom of the refrigerator and let those spices and taste all mingle together. Yeah, I do think, I agree with her that curry powder is definitely one of the biggest key ingredients in this. It's just very, very delicious. All right, y'all, we'll be back in 2, maybe probably more like 3 hours, and we're going to have a meal. I'll show you what we're going to fix for our meal. We had some leftover beef stew, and we're going to use that, and I'll show you how we're going to make it different. All right, y'all, we'll be back, and let's just go ahead and say 3 hours. We'll be back. Here are the ingredients I'm using. So this is garlic powder, celery seed, dill, curry powder, basil leaves, parsley, whole oregano. This is red wine vinegar, and she said to use another kind I could not find. So I'm using this, the LeJour sweet peas, and these are the very young small peas. I'm using Duke's mayonnaise, and I've got about 3 tablespoons of onion chopped very fine. And here are the hard-boiled eggs. I'm going to mash those up instead of cutting them. I'm just going to mash them up. Hey, we are back, and our little salad that we fixed, the little pea salad, has been in the refrigerator for about 2.5 hours. So we're going to fix another one of those half pies with some leftover beef stew. Trying to get this out. So this is one of the Pillsbury refrigerator pie crust. Lay that out on our baking sheet, and I do have this greased a little bit. So yeah, we had some leftover beef stew, and I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and make one of these pies with the leftovers. Now, the potatoes were cut in half in the beef stew, and the carrots were a little bit whole, so I just cut everything up, including the meat. So what we're going to do is, let me move y'all closer, I'm going to put a little onion salt in it. Now there is some gravy still on the stew here, but of course we don't want it too wet because it'll run out the sides if we do. And a little bit of garlic powder. And just mix those potatoes and the beef and the carrots together. That. I'm not going to put any cheese or anything on this either. Just got a little bit of the gravy. Once the heat hits that gravy, it's going to melt down some. I hope I don't have too much here. So we're going to dump it on this pie crust, and this again is the refrigerator Pillsbury pie crust. See, some of the gravy's still in there, but it should melt down once the heat hits it. That's a good way to get use the leftovers here. We're going to have that pea salad with it, and we're going to have dessert too. All right, let's see if we can just bring this over like that. Just mash it down, and you have to make sure your fingernails don't pierce the crust up in here, because it'll run out if you do. Now I'm just going to use this fork, cut it off a little bit, and further get it together. Yeah, I've made lots of these. We have them very frequently now. I love them. I love that crust. And now I'm just going to take the crust and pinch it together and turn it over. Just making sure that nothing runs out. Now the oven is preheated to 450 degrees, and it's going to take about 20 minutes for this to cook. Makes a great meal for 2 people also. All right, now let's see if we can make this kind of fancy like that. Pinching it together. Roll it up just a little bit. And all this is to make sure it doesn't leak out. And then I'm going to put some little holes in it to let the steam out. Now if you don't cook it at 450, a lot of times it will crack. And even sometimes at 450 it'll crack, but hopefully this doesn't. Just turn my fork around and use that end of it. All right, going in the oven at 450 degrees for about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to fix the salad and get the tea ready, and we'll be back. All right, here's our little pie, and I usually cut that with a pizza cutter. It cuts it better. And there's the pea salad, and I decided to serve it over the baby greens. They're really good and we're super fresh. So anyway, let me get the tea and we'll show you what this looks like on the plates. See those tortilla chips? Mr. Bucky will probably eat the rest of that tonight watching a ball game if he can find one. All right, we'll be back. All right, here's the meal. There's the pie on the plate, and there's that wonderful pea salad from Lee Perdue, and I'm going to put her recipe down below. I'm just going to copy it and paste it down below in the description. Of course, we've got our iced tea. There's my plate. Let you look at that pie close up. It is so good this way. It's a good way to serve leftovers so they don't look like leftovers. All right, y'all, we will see y'all next time. Bye for now.